Go for it.
So first question. In page 306, okay, we see that once you are born to niece, you cannot help but feel and think to niece. Someday you will see such a mother, your blood bound to be let go. So I was thinking about it. I think everybody's question. Being married to Yuan, that you can't help but be the person your culture dictates. This means born into a certain family with a certain background guarantees that you will embody it, regardless if you want to or not. And then
I don't agree with it because like your family does make up who you're gonna become, but it doesn't make up like your culture. I'm from Honduras. Like what my family does in my house, it impacts me, but also like you guys impact me because I also take things from your culture. And also as a literary luminary, in page 312 I found the quote that says, "Even without makeup, I could never pass for true Chinese." Which is just like even though she comes from a house that is Chinese, she doesn't feel like she's Chinese.
What you guys said reminds me of what we read for honors, and in the honors paper it said that kids who are born in America but with Chinese families or families from a different background, sometimes they feel like the culture is forced upon them, which causes them to like reject it and ignore the words of wisdom that their family tells them. And then as they grow up later, they realize what their parents told them is like actually correct. And so growing up their whole life rejecting the culture, they kind of like, they don't know who their true identity is, like what their identity is. But once they look back into their culture and say, oh, this is who I am, this is where my family comes from, I'm a part of this culture as well, they start to find their true identity, which relates to Rose in the book, who she didn't know who she was, so she let her husband all over her. And once her mother told her the story of her background, she was like, okay, this is who I am. I'm gonna tell him not to boss me around and tell me what to do.
Christmas and New Year's celebrations.
I'm the connector, so I'm gonna connect to something outside. So for example, like children who, I don't know, in the cases of like adoption, if they're adopted with a family that's not the same cultural background as they are, I feel like society can push it on to certain people that they wanna then get to know their own ethnicity, their own cultural background, where they come from. So I feel like even in cases such as that, they feel that inside they want to know more about where they come from and who they are.
No, I was gonna say that too because like even coming from like one family, like my mom can't stress enough the fact that when you're older, that's when you'll understand where I'm coming from. Because like there's certain things that I'll just be like, well, I can't help that I'm American and I have to like, because obviously I'm gonna side with my American culture because I'm growing up in the environment that's impacting my life more than, you know, my other background. So I'm just like, yeah, maybe they were great person, but then reading from this book, I'm just like, it shows up so much the fact that they don't understand beforehand, but then later on they're realizing everything, and it's just like, my mother said this already.
So I have a question for you. So do you think when you get older, it'll start to make sense
It'll start to be like, okay, yeah, I get it.
So do you guys think, so you guys mentioned a lot about family. So do you think that the core of your culture is family? Not the language, not the biological aspect of family, but family. Is that the core of culture?
I think family is the core of culture because that knowing the culture of your family and the languages in your family, that makes you closer to them. And by knowing that, that's what makes a family big. You have that tight-knit relationship because of that. You know? So I feel like that is the core.
Family is also like your foundation of your whole entire life. They're there with you. They experience everything. So then, of course, you're gonna have to like side with them and interpret what they're trying to like. Okay, this is what my parents do. This is what they're doing. So I have to build it in my own way to register what they're doing and then interpret it in my life and apply it to that. So, keeping the themes of family, we notice a lot in this book that the parents have certain expectations of their daughters, right? So, and there's this part in the last chapter where she says that, I feel like my mother, like I killed my mother with disappointment. She died disappointed. So my question was, should children hold themselves accountable for their parents' disappointments? Or should the parents be the one that's wrong because they should know better than to hold their kids to a certain standard that they want them to achieve? Whose fault is it? Or is it anyone's fault? Or is it both?
My aunt was like, the stud keys to immigration papers.
Do you want me to kick it up?
Yeah.
Okay. I personally think that the parents are not at fault here. I can't blame a parent for wanting what's best for their kid. If anything, I'd be terrified if one day my parents told me, do what you want, because then that means they lost hope in me. I don't want my parents to lose hope. But I do find a little flaw in certain parents who hold their kids to a certain standard that their kids can no longer pursue what they really want to. That's where I'm a little bit. But what do you guys think?
I think that it's no one's fault because based off what I read in the article for Honors, it says that there's a whole bunch of misunderstandings between the parents and the kids. So if the parents want their kids to be this and that, the kids are going to be like, stop, you're pressuring me, I can't do this. And the parents are going to be like, it's best for you, I want best for you. You're going to grow up, you're going to be successful, you're going to do this and this and this. But it's just about misunderstandings because they both come from two different cultures. Like the kids grew up in America and the parents grew up in China. I think like your parents should always have like high standards for you. Like my brother, he's going to Florida and my mom's like, you better not come back. But it's not because she doesn't want him there. It's because she already knows that he's strong enough to be like in Florida by himself, because she was like, if I didn't think you were strong enough, I wouldn't have let you pick Florida. You better like go to a CUNY or somewhere closer. But because she has so much hope and she knows she could do it, she lets him do it, which is what like the parents in this book do. Like for Waverly, they see how like chess is always like what she goes for and how good she is, and they put her in competition because they know she's able to win, and they see how like there's her strength and like yeah.
So, as an investigator, what do you personally feel on race and relationships? What do you feel about this certain topic, or something that you investigated in normal everyday life?
Well, I think, so what I investigated was, like for example, it mentions how the names of places in China has changed, even if it's like the spelling, not necessarily the sounding. So it shows that like the people have changed, but also like the places, and like I think it's just a whole representation of change itself. And so